Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. The last day of June. Can we believe it? We're halfway through the year. Oh my goodness, how time flies. And an older friend of mine said to me one time, he said, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. Well, it seems like time is really flying here. But today, let's talk about this. Tons of low wage jobs available. And hold on to your seats for this one. You need to spend money to get rid of debt. That's right. You need to spend money to get rid of debt. We're going to talk about who's saying that and maybe try to dissect that just a little bit here. All right. We're also going to talk about the freeze in certain types of debt and how it's going to continue. And just as we predicted, is going to be continued, and we'll talk about that here too in just a few minutes. But first of all, a recent article out of Axios, why almost no one is looking hard for a job. Now, we've talked about this. When you have massive loan payments being frozen or ceased, when you have tens of millions of people living in households that don't have to pay their rent and their mortgages, when you combine rent and mortgages, when you have enhanced unemployment benefits, which is actually stopping in about half of the states here pretty soon. Some states have actually already started. And when you send out lots of stimulus money, stimulus checks, people, at least for the time being, can afford being choosy about the jobs that they take. So that's why you see a lot of entry-level service sector, low-wage jobs available. Now that's not going to continue. As soon as those extra unemployment benefits end, as soon as the stimulus checks finally stop, who knows, there may be a fourth, fifth, and sixth in the pipeline, we don't know. As soon as people have to pay their rent and their mortgages again, as soon as certain types of loans, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, have to start being paid back once again, payments resume, well then people won't be able to be so picky, and a lot of these 9 million plus jobs are going to start to be filled up pretty quickly. Well, let's take a look into this article and get some numbers out of here. Only about 10% of job seekers say they're actively and urgently looking for work, a new survey from job site Indeed. Around 45% are passively looking for jobs, and another 30% plan to get a job in the near future, but aren't looking at all right now. So a very low number, only 10% are actively, urgently looking for work. And this next part tells you exactly what we've been saying here for a long, long time. Most of the open jobs are in low-wage areas like the service sector industry, which is bouncing back after the pandemic, but struggling to find workers. Quote from Stephen Fazari, an economist at Washington University in St. Louis, quote, "These jobs are not very good. They're hard work and they don't pay very well," unquote. Folks, on this channel, Bulls and Bears, what have we been telling you for a very long time? I can't even remember. It's been 3-4 years since we started this channel. Right now, here are some of the reasons behind why so many people are not looking for jobs urgently. About 25% of people are still afraid of the sickness. But even if you're afraid of getting sick and going to work and being around people, how can you afford not to work unless you have somebody paying for your housing? All right, so maybe they surveyed homeless people, I don't know, but this is the information out of this article. More than 20% say they have a financial cushion, and around 12% say their unemployment insurance is the reason they're not rushing to get a job. Also, 20% said childcare is a factor. But again, we have to ask the question, if you don't have childcare, of course, that's your reason for not going to work, but how are you paying to keep a roof over your head if you're not working? So something tells me a lot of these people are probably also on some sort of benefit program or payout program. All right, so this was a good article. It was kind of vague in a couple areas, but you get the picture. A lot of low entry or low wage entry level jobs are available. And I think a lot of people are just thinking that it's not even worth it. You go to work, you get a paycheck, you pay your bills, and you're back to break even. Then Uncle Sam takes his cut. And sometimes when you factor in gas, the wear and tear in your vehicle, the stress of having a job, sometimes it's better not to work at all if you're getting a handout. Right? No, I'm not saying handouts are the solution. I'm just saying this is reality. This is what's happening. And I'm just reporting the news. And people have called me names for reporting this news. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just letting you know what the situation is. The situation is there's 9+ million jobs available, and we've got tens of millions of people on payouts and assistance programs. And also tens of millions of people that live in households without having to pay their rent, their mortgages. Another 40 million people, if we look at student loans, not having to pay their student loan debts. Student loan payments have been frozen. And I don't think they're going to resume in October like they're telling us, but let's take a look at a recent article on this. This was a MoneyWise article put out on Yahoo Finance. The president now faces heat to cancel $50K in student loan debt. That's $50K per person, or up to $50K per person, and keep payments frozen. Exactly what we've been telling you. So the rumor or the speculation was that student loans were going to have to start being repaid again back in October as the economy, quote unquote, recovers or reopens. But why, if the economy is recovering, why do we even want to think about keeping payments frozen? And why are we still talking about canceling $50K per person in student loan debt? Right? Maybe you can let me know down in the comments. I think most of you know the answer to that, because why? There is no economic recovery. It's a lot of debt, money being pumped into the economy, more lending to create the money velocity, more fractional lending out of the banks that actually don't have the money that they lend out, but they still make a lot of money and interest on it. All right, so let's transition a little bit here. You're not going to believe this. CNBC, the president's infrastructure plan would cut U.S. debt. Yes, you heard that right. The infrastructure plan would cut U.S. debt and slightly increase economic growth. That's according to a Wharton study. All right, the bipartisan plan authorizes $1.2 trillion of spending over the next 5 years, includes billions in additional spending to improve roads, bridges, and broadband access. So you heard it right. So spending $1.2 trillion is going to help eliminate the debt. Oh my goodness. All right, let me know what you think down in the comments. All right, so here is their theory, or here's their thinking behind this. Their theory is that tax collections will increase because the spending will create new jobs. Right? So the spending that creates the jobs will be paid off from the taxes from the jobs that are created. Pretty wacky, right? You guys let me know. Sorry, that was my alarm going off in the background. Got an appointment to run to. We're going to cut this off right here. Thanks everybody for watching. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Spending $1.2 trillion is going to help pay off the debt. Is this article right? Is it not? The entry-level jobs. It's mainstream news now. We've been talking about it for years. Even Axios is talking about it. And also, will students be able to resume their student loan debts in October? Well, they said that was going to happen for a year now, but there's new calls to keep the student loans frozen. No surprise to any of you. No surprise to me. Thanks everybody for being here. Love you. Stay well. Keep stacking.